Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Felissimo Friday and we have our set number 18 of the Felissimos. These are a large square pencil that is a very expensive 500 piece set. It comes in 25 little boxes and that's why it's number 18. It's number 18 out of the 25 boxes. Each box comes with their own little swatch chart and their own name. So this is pencils 341 to 360. The name of the set is called Evening, and it comes with a little poem, and the poem says, "As the calm of dusk settles, candle flames start to sway. Allure to the evening begs, this is my favorite time of day." And of course, they have some wonderful color names such as Dinner Date, Wine Tasting, Witching Hour, Sleeping Beauty, Cobalt Clouds, Deep Sleep, Twilight Tales, Teal River, Bedtime Stories, Moonlight Dance, Evening Pine Tree, Gardenia Gorgeous, Opera Lullaby, Old Olive, Cashmere Blanket, Taupe Temper, Caramello Drizzle, Chocolate Brownie, Hazelnut Pudding, and Cafe au lait. Cafe au lait. And just reading those names made me drool. So our colors today are a mix of some good, sultry, deep evening colors. After we finish the swatch, we will be coloring our little bird. So this one here was done with number 16. This one here was done with number 17. This one will be done with number 18. So we will come back and we will color our little birds after we go through all of the wonderful colors. So it starts up here and it ends down here. So we've got our deep red wine colors and our purples, some blues, some greens, and into some browns and grays. I'm going to switch you over to the close-up camera so that you can see the swatch a little bit better. Now remember, the swatch chart on these pencils that comes with the pencils is not very good. So unfortunately, it's not going to give us the color payoff that most other swatch charts will give us. I'm just going to zoom you in just a bit here so that you can actually see what I'm doing. All right, so the first one we have is called Dinner Date. Again, the best way to sharpen these is with a hand sharpener with a large hole and a small hole. This one here is done by Mr. Pen and it has a wonderful eraser on it as well. I find the Mr. Pen works very nicely on sharpening the pencil without tearing the corners. Another one that I have used and don't like as much, of course, is the Staedtler. And it has two holes, one for the graphite, one for the colored pencils. However, I find the one for the colored pencils in here grabs the corners and tears them a little bit. It does sharpen the pencil quite nicely, but I find it does tear the corners. So this one is called Dinner Date, and as you can see, the Mr. Pen sharpens it very, very cleanly. So we're going to start by putting down a thin layer, and then we'll build that color up. Now again, the swatch chart paper that comes with your pencils is not the best paper, so you will find that you don't get a fantastic color payoff. I could have made a swatch chart for each set, but I'm going to be going through and creating or rearranging these into a color order. So I'm not too concerned about the sets. The only reason why I'm doing the swatches is so I can keep it in the boxes in case I ever want to put them back in their little cases. So this is a really lovely deep red, nice deep pinky red color. Very nice color. The next one is called Wine Tasting. Again, we're going to give it a sharpen. Just to get any little bits of coating off of the pencil. I have already actually swatched these on a full 500 swatch chart, but I really want them in color order, so that should be fun to rearrange and put into order. It'll be an interesting day, that's for sure. All right, so we've got a lovely deep purple, red violet. Very lovely color, great for shadowing underneath this color here. All right. The next one is called the Witching Hour. Again, sharpen the pencil up, and as you can see, it's a nice clean sharpen. I really like these Mr. Pen sharpeners. I need to get some more. All right. Nice purple. It's a lovely color. The colors and the pigmentation on these pencils is actually really, really nice once you put it onto a paper that it actually works well with. It's finding the paper that works best with the pencils that is a little more difficult, and the paper that comes with them doesn't work all that great with them. Just saying. Alright, I'm going to dust this off because that one crumbled a little tiny bit, and I think it's just because I sharpened it too sharp. Alright, this one's called Sleepy Beauty. Not sleeping, sleepy. Sleepy Beauty. These are fantastic colors for the set for evening. They are colors that you would mix together to create that night sky or that twilight, sundown. That's another really nice dark purple, great for doing shadows on that one. Now we're going to use Cobalt Clouds. Again, give it a bit of a sharpen. And as you can see, when I don't sharpen it to a really fine point, they don't crumble. It's just when I sharpen them to a fine point that the point breaks off and they crumble a little bit. Ooh, that's a pretty blue. That's a really pretty blue. It's a lovely blue. And then we have Deep Sleep. Just quickly sharpening them as I go. So that they're sharpened for when we start coloring with them. It's pretty too. All these pretty colors. That one's really nice too. That's a nice bright dark blue. And then we have Twilight Tales. And I will try to use the majority of these colors on the bird to show that they can be used for an entire scene. However, putting all these on one area might be a little cumbersome because it's a small area. But we will do our best. That's another pretty blue. So we've got a deep blue here. This one here is almost a purpley cobalt blue. Then we've got more of a blue here, um, tempering on um, having a little bit of that deep water look. And then we've got our twilight tails, which is a little bit lighter. These two blues here are closer together in color than this one to this one. This one here is more of a pure blue. More of a, well, it tends to have a little bit of purple undertone to it. So this one is called Teal River. And as you can see, we're starting to get more into the green blue, into our lighter color here. That's pretty too. I just really like color. There are some colors that I'm just not very fond of, though. There are some colors that I go, yeah, that's not the best color. Usually if there's too much black in a color, I don't like it too much. I like the gray colors, though. I like it when they start adding grays into colors. Tones them down and gives you that aged look. This one here is called Bedtime Stories. Now we're going into a deeper teal color. This one has more green, where this one has more blue. Again, trying to get my deep coloring here. Just building that color up. Very pretty color as well. Then we have Moonlight Dance. Again, just sharpening the pencil up. These are a very thick pencil, so getting deeper into some of the really small detailed areas you may find that more difficult with a thicker pencil. They're not thicker than, most other artist grade pencils. I do believe that it's like a 4 mil, maybe a little bit thicker. I don't have my husband's little measuring tool out, so I couldn't tell you exactly. But I do believe in the description it's a 4 mil, which is a little bit chunkier than most brands of pencils. I know the Caran d'Ache is up there, and the Derwent, I do believe, is up there as well. The Indras that I just reviewed earlier today is also a 4 mil pencil. I thought it was a 3.8, but it's actually a 4 mil. 4 mil core. The barrel on that one just feels a lot thinner. Actually, the lead feels thinner than this too, so maybe this is a 5 mil. Again, I don't have my tool, so I can't tell you for certain. My husband has this wonderful measuring tool that he uses for measuring the cores of the pencils for me, because Bob's special. Bob is awesome like that. He goes through and measures all my pencils for me when I need to. If I have question on actual depth of the pencil, thickness of the pencil, he'll measure it for me. That was a evening pine tree, and it is also a nice dark green, definitely a pine tree color. This one is called Gardenia Gorgeous, and it is a very light green. I would assume that it's about the color of a gardenia leaf because I don't think it's the color of the gardenias. All gardenias I've had are white. So we have a great set of colors here for our shadow and our light, our shadow and our light. Um, these ones here as well. You can use this for your shadows as well with the purples. We've got some dark blues into our light blues, into our teal greens. So our teal blue, our teal green into our greens. And then we're going to go into Opera Lullaby. Now I'm trying to stay on screen for you. Unfortunately, it's a little bit difficult for the way I'm sitting because the dog has decided that she needs to take a nap right under my chair. So I don't want to roll over top of Shyla's toes or her tail. So you guys are watching the sacrifice for Shyla's comfort and well-being, which usually means me not moving the way I want to. This one here is called Old Olive. Oh, there goes Mr. Choo Choo. This one is Old Olive. Ooh, that's a nice color. I really like the olive colors as well. They work great for doing brighter undertones, shadowing those brighter colors. Also work great for going over top of some browns and giving a little bit of depth to them as well. That's a nice color. And then we have Cashmere Blanket. So the Opera Lullaby is a purpley gray. It has a touch of purple in it, which is really lovely. This one here looks like it's going to be a more of a brown gray. It's definitely a warm tone. Definitely a warm gray. It's actually kind of a yellow gray. Yeah, it's more of a yellow gray. That's not bad. Very matches very well with the olive. That's actually a nice looking color. And then we have Taupe Temper. And the camera is showing very well the brown in that gray. This one here is called Taupe Temper. And it looks like it's a bit of a cooler gray. Looks like it would go very well with the Opera Lullaby. Pressing a little bit harder and it's just scraping the pencil off the page. Yeah, like I said, the paper for the swatch is not very nice paper and definitely does not work well for colored pencils, but it is what it is. This one here is called Caramello Drizzle, and it's going to be a nice caramel brown. Of course, if you do choose, you can take the names of the colors and write a short story and put it in the description below the video. I love reading them. They are so fun to read. So if you want to do that, all of the names were read off at the start of the video. And of course I will read them off again after we're done the swatch. So again, a nice caramel brown, very nice light brown. And then we have chocolate brownie, which is going to be a darker red brown. So the caramello drizzle has a lot of yellow in it, where this one here is going to have a lot of red in it. Just building that color up, trying not to scrape it off. Very nice chocolate brown color. And then we have hazelnut pudding, which is going to be even a deeper bit of brown. And it does look like it has a heavy red presence in it. Not as red as this one, but a nice dark brown. That's a pretty color. It's almost the color of my hair. That's pretty. That one's called hazelnut pudding. And then last but not least, we have cafe au lait, which is going to be a very pale red brown. So almost a pink with the brown undertones, or brown with pink undertones, whichever way you want to do it. It's a very light red brown. Just building that color up, getting the payoff to show. Like so. Alright, so there we have our colors. We have dinner date, a wine tasting, witching hour, sleepy beauty, cobalt clouds, deep sleep, twilight tales, teal river, bedtime stories, moonlight dance, evening pine tree, gardenia gorgeous, opera lullaby, old olive, cashmere blanket, taupe temper, caramello drizzle, chocolate brownie, hazelnut pudding, and cafe au lait. I'm going to switch you back over to the main camera here so you can see the entire swatch chart as the colored pencils lay in the swatch. So a great progression of color going from our reds to our purples to our blues, our greens, our grays, and our green grays into our browns. Very lovely looking set. Now I'm going to color the little bird here, and we're going to color this one. This one here, I'm going to switch you over to the close-up camera. So we're going to finish this bird here with the colors that we have. I'm going to start off with our browns. So I'm going to start with hazelnut pudding, and we're going to do his back area in the browns. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to put in the shadow areas. And as you can tell, it lays down a lot easier, a lot thicker, and a lot smoother on this paper than it did on the paper that comes with the set. Alright, I think that's it for the dark brown. Now we're going to go in with the medium tone, which is chocolate brownie. We're going to do the deeper undertones here with it. The shadowed areas where you're going to see that shadow. I'm going to turn the page just a little bit here. Like so. All right. And just dragging it out just a little bit into the highlight area of the bird. And then we are going to take our cafe au lait. And we're going to just bring that out through the shadowy areas here a little bit. Extending that shadow out. And filling in the highlight area of the bird. And there we have our back area of our bird. Just going to make sure that we have a good coverage there. And then we're going to use our yellow brown, which is our caramello drizzle, and we're going to put that on his beak. Like so. Now we're going to move into our greens, and we're going to use our Moonlight Dance. And we're just going to sharpen this up. And we're going to do some of these smaller leaves down here with the greens. Once we come up into these leaves here, we'll use some other colors. Maybe the blues. I think I want to use those grays on his tail. So let's take our cashmere. No, we're going to take our old olive. No. Nope, nope, nope. Yeah. Decisions. So we're going to take our old olive and we're just going to go through and we're going to do our shadowy areas where the feathers overlap. Just so many decisions. So many colors. And then we're going to take our cashmere blanket and we're just going to fill that in. There we go. Now for the other leaves there, we're going to take our evening pine tree. We're just going to extend. Well, I guess I am. I don't know about you guys, but I'm doing it for you. So we are doing it. Just saying. Alright, so we're going to just put in this shadow here and up through here. Remember to put in a tail for those other colors to blend into. Because now we're going to come in with the Gardenia Gorgeous, which is the lightest color in the greens. And we're going to blend that in, filling in the rest of the leaf. Alright. There we have our leaf colors. Now we're going to go in to these ones here, and I'm going to start with the Cobalt Clouds on this area here. Just in those really deep areas. And then we're going to go into Deep Sleep. And we're going to extend from that. Just building that color around the leaves. And going down the spines. Going through the veins. Extending out the shadow. And putting in the shadows from the other curves of the leaf. And then we're going to go in with Twilight Tails. And this one we're just going to extend out the shadows just a little bit more. Leaving the highlight area open. Like that. And then the last one we're going to use is the Teal River. I'm going to just blend that right in to that blue. Like so. Okay, and there we have our blues. So we've got our greens, our blues, our browns, and our gray browns. Now we're going to come up through here with our purples. So we're going to start with Cobalt Clouds in the shadow areas, because even though I used it for a blue, I can also use it as a deep purple because it is very close to both purple and blue. So I can definitely utilize it for those shadows in those areas where I would want that deeper color to show. So I'm just going through and adding that area there. And then we're going to come in with the Sleepy Beauty. Now this has more of a red violet tone to it, so it will come off of that violet really nicely and give us a different coloring. And get up here and under the flower, and that flower is going to be in the red tones. Alright, and then we're going to use Witching Hour for our highlight. Just trying to make sure I get into as much of the white spot as I can in the deep sections. The lighter sections, I'm going to let the white spot work for me and give us that highlight. But the deeper sections, I want to contain that white spot a bit. Alright, now we're going to go with our wine tasting. So far I've used pretty much every pencil on the one bird. So I'm just going to fill in that bottom part with the wine tasting and then go around the edge. Like so. Make sure that I'm still on screen because I have a tendency to not be. Alright, now we're going to take our dinner date and we're going to finish the flower. Well, we're going to finish the petals of the flower with dinner date. Yeah, you're definitely not going to be able to figure out the name, the color of the pencil by the name, but that's okay. As long as the color has a number on it, as well as the name, you can easily swatch it in your order using just the color number. And that way the names don't confuse you and are a bit of a surprise when you get to them. I did that. I put them in color or number order, and I swatched them, and after swatching them I went back through and tried to find different colors and was really surprised by some of the names. I do enjoy the names though. I think they're hilarious. Now we're going to go in with our caramello drizzle, and we're going to put the yellow here. And then we're going to go back over it with Gardenia Gorgeous just to green it up a little. like that. All right, so there is our little bird. I'm going to take the blender pencil to it to show you that these can be blended. I'm just going to sharpen it up a little bit here. And they do get much brighter when you blend them. Because basically what you're doing when you're blending a pencil set or an area is you're moving all of that pigment into the white spot that was remaining. That was making it look a little bit lighter, a little bit grayer than you would probably want. So it just brightens those colors up nice and bright. And fills in any areas that you may have missed and eliminates the white spot if you didn't want it there. Now if you want the white spot there, you can still blend, just don't blend as hard. So if you want the white spot there and you're going to blend with a blender, make sure that you don't blend really hard. Like, don't put a lot of pressure on it. You can definitely blend without putting too much pressure on your pencil and still get a really good blend and a brightness to your coloring. Okay. Now I keep on wiping the blender off between colors just to make sure that I'm not dragging any colors into other areas. Now, for example, this area here I want to be dark. So I'm putting a little bit more pressure on the blender, getting those colors blended together. This area here I want to be light, so I'm just going to use a very, very light pressure and blend that in. Basically, it's still covering up that white spot, but it's not covering it up with a heavy layer. Just going to blend the back here. Now, if your lightest color is really, really light, you can definitely still put a fairly good pressure on your pencil and still have that highlight, because even though it's taking over that white spot, that whiteness of the pencil is going to show through, especially if you use a really light hand when you lay it down. All right, and there is our little bird. So I'm going to switch you over to the main camera so you can see a little bit better. All of them put together. So we have number 16, number 17, and number 18. And number 18 is called Evening, and it's pencils 341 to 360. The names on the pencils, again, if you do choose to write a small story, you can do so in the description or in the comment section below the video. I read every one of them, so if you do decide to do that, I will read it, I promise. All right, so the names of the pencils again is Dinner Date, Wine Tasting, Witching Hour, Sleepy Beauty, Cobalt Clouds, Deep Sleep, Twilight Tales, Teal River, Bedtime Stories, Moonlight Dance, Evening Pine Tree, Gardenia Gorgeous, Opera Lullaby, Old Olive, Cashmere Blanket, Taupe Temper, Caramello Drizzle, Chocolate Brownie, Hazelnut Pudding, and Cafe au lait. The poem again, it says, as the calm of dusk settles, candle flames start to sway, allure to the evening begs, this is my favorite time of day. So thank you all very much for watching. Of course, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube artist that you enjoy. Not only does this help out with our own personal self-esteem things, it does help us out with our YouTube analytics, allowing for YouTube to send more people to come and see our videos. Until next time, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe, everyone. Until next time, bye-bye for now.